Hey everyone, it's Ashley from Yoga for That, and today I'm going to guide you through a relaxing and restoring yoga practice. First, you're going to set up one block in between the shoulder blades and one block underneath the back of the head. From here, you're welcome to extend the legs long, supporting the low back on the floor, opening the arms wide and opening the chest. Other options, you can have the feet together to touch reclined butterfly legs, or having the feet to the outside edges of your mat and knees knocking in towards each other, either resting on one another or just resting in the air. In this foundation, allowing the breath to become easy and soft, allowing the body to be heavy on the earth. Breath is steady, yet calm. Beginning to invite awareness back into the body. Here you're going to bend into the knees, place one foot on the floor, followed by the second foot on the earth. Bending into your right arm, gently rolling over to the right side body. Taking a moment to rest in fetal position. Here, setting an intention for your practice if you wish today. As you're ready, gently pressing yourself up to seated. Moving the blocks out of the way and setting up into a tabletop foundation. Setting yourself up into tabletop. Inhaling to lift chest and lifting tailbone. And as you exhale, rounding the spine. Each movement only within the mobility of today's body. Focusing on breath. Focusing on sensation. Going only as slow or as quickly as you'd like to go. Settling into a neutral spine as you're ready. Setting up for a pigeon pose from tabletop, drawing the right knee towards the right wrist. Heel comes to the outside of the left thigh. From there, walking the left foot back until the hips feel square and you're feeling a stretch into the right outer hip. Feeling free to stay upright or coming down to the floor, maybe resting head on stacked fists or block or bolster. Focusing the breath into the low body. Last couple rounds of breath here, heavy and deep. And bringing more awareness back to the body. And as you feel ready, beginning to place the palms back underneath the shoulders and making your way back to a tabletop foundation. And once you've made your way to tabletop, maybe taking a round or two of cat-cow. And then as you're ready, settling into the second side, left knee to the left wrist, heel comes to the outside of the right thigh. And then you're going to walk your right leg all the way back. This time showing with the block underneath the forehead. You can also place a towel on top of the block as well for a little extra cushion underneath the forehead. As well, you can use the block underneath the hip and then lean against the block, and this will help to square the hips and release some tension into the hips if you feel like you're holding in the body. And focusing the breath into the low body. Breathing smoothly and calmly. And taking your last few rounds of breath in this foundation. Beginning to bring awareness back into the body. And again, as you're ready, hands come underneath the shoulders, making your way back to your tabletop foundation. Feeling free to bring any movement into the body here that feels good. Cat-cow, circles into the hips, circles into the rib cage. As you're ready, we're going to set up for Child's Pose, big toes together to touch, sending hips towards the heels. Arms can reach forward or arms can reach back. Of course, you're welcome to use a block underneath the forehead, or you can place a bolster or blanket in between the space between the calves and the thighs. Especially if you're tight into the hamstrings or have any pain in the knees, it might feel comfortable to have a little extra cushion underneath the bottom so you don't feel like you're floating above your heels. As you're ready, beginning to bring awareness back into the body, gently using your hands to press yourself back up, removing any props that were in your way. Shifting over to one hip, we're going to come to lay down onto the back. Keeping the feet on the floor, feeling the entire low back and upper back on the earth. As you're ready, drawing your right knee in towards your chest, and then gently guiding the right knee over to the outside of the right rib cage and towards the armpit for a modified half-happy baby. Compressing through the hip flexor and beginning to bring breath into the outer hip and the glute. Of course, eyes are welcome to be closed here. If that brings any tension or anxiety into the body, you can focus the gaze on a single point. As you inhale, noticing belly press against your thigh. As you exhale, you might be able to draw the knee a little bit closer in towards the chest, compressing deeper into the right hip flexor. From here, gently releasing the right foot back to the floor. Take a moment to settle. Notice the differences in the sides of the body. And as you inhale, drawing your left knee in towards the chest and taking the knee to the outside of the rib cage towards the armpit. You're welcome to point or flex the toes here, as the knees and ankles are in no way going to be harmed. And inhaling to feel belly press against the thighs. As you exhale, knee might come closer to the heart. The sensation of keeping the hips rooted down to the earth. And shoulders are relaxed and soft. As you're ready, you're going to gently exhale, releasing the left foot back to the earth. And take a moment to settle. And from here, we're going to take a block, and we're going to press through our feet evenly, lift our hips up. Slide the block underneath the tailbone area, maybe a little bit more underneath the bum, as a supported bridge pose. Notice the sensation of pressing feet into earth, shoulders relax, core slightly engaged. The sensation of slight work into the pose while still resting and feeling supported. And from here, preparing to come into our inversion, or reclined hamstring stretch, drawing one knee in towards to hang out over the hips, followed by the second knee. And you're welcome to stay with knees bent. If it feels supportive enough, you're welcome to extend the heels up towards the sky. Toes are neither pointed nor flexed. And by having the legs up in an inversion, beginning to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, which allows us to come into a state of relaxation. Feeling grounded, the earth underneath our upper body. Feeling free in the lower body. And as you're ready to come out of this pose, you're going to begin to bend into the knees. And then release one foot to the floor, and once it's flat to the earth, replace the second foot to the floor. You're going to press through the feet to lift the hips enough to slide the block out from underneath us. And as you're ready, gently rolling over towards the right side body, coming into a fetal position. Pressing yourself up slowly, we're going to prepare to come into our reclined supported posture. So using your bolster, your blanket, your blocks, however this feels supportive for you. And of course, laying on the floor is most supportive today. Feeling free to not use any props at all. And having all your extra props just handy to one hip or the other, so they're within reaching distance if you decide you need them once you're on your back. In this position, bolster is underneath our spine. About the end of the bolster is at the tailbone area, and then the blanket just creates a little extra cushion underneath the low back. The blocks are used to support the knees. They can also be used at a lower level underneath the hip area. Feet can be together, so reclined butterfly foundation. Eyes open or closed. Arms can be wide. This allows the shoulders to stay open, chest opens. Of course, if this feels too vulnerable, you're welcome to bring palms onto the low back. To come out, taking hands to the outsides of the thighs, bring the knees together to touch, and extending the legs long. You're welcome to hold here for final meditation, or feeling free to bring soles of feet to the floor. Knees together to touch just for a moment to reset the low back. And as you're ready, you're going to roll over to one side, come off your props, and press yourself up to seated meditation. Once you've found a comfortable seat in seated meditation, whether that's leaning against a wall, sitting on top of props, allow the eyes to close if that doesn't bring any anxiety or stress, and again, if it does, keeping the gaze at a single point in front of you. If the eyes are closed, bringing the gaze to between the brows, so an internal gaze. And then begin to feel the earth heavy underneath your body. Notice the points of the body that are touching the earth. And allow them to become heavier. And as you energetically become heavier into the earth begins to feel more supportive underneath the body. And first allowing yourself to touch base with your own breath and not changing it. Just notice. And you may be someone who breathes more into the chest or the belly, or maybe evenly through the torso. And again, don't change the breath, just notice. And then without a sensation of effort, begin to breathe more into the belly. Noticing the belly expand as you inhale and deflate as you exhale. And as you inhale, there is almost a sensation of widening, of becoming larger. And as you exhale, returning back to your same shape. And then as you inhale, lengthening, growing taller through the crown of the head, as well as lengthening the breath. And with each inhale of lengthening, letting the exhale release any stress or tension, which will allow you to grow even taller on your next inhale. And as we breathe in this state of comfort, in this place of stillness, the breath becomes easier. You become less aware of outside intrusions. The mind is given a chance to still and calm. And you might begin to notice the sensations of air on the skin. A sensation of warmth through the body. And knowing that the body might feel comfortable the entire time you're here, and if it begins to subtly change, feeling free to change the body to find comfort once again. And allowing for this idea of permission to create space for ourselves to permeate into our day-to-day life. And as much as we allow space in our yoga practice, and allowing that same space in our work life, in our family life, beginning to notice how the breath has become easier. You've become less focused on the inhale and the exhale, more focused on the feeling. And with your next inhale, bringing that attention back to the breath. Back to the natural breath, so not forceful, not changing. Just breathing. As the breath returns back to your natural state, allowing the chin to drop towards the chest. You might take a moment to touch base with any intention you've set for your practice today or an intention you're working with. As you're ready, bringing the hands to meet at heart center. And may the light of me find the light in you. Namaste.